live visuals coming off Asaduddin Owaisi right there, cutting straight across to the breaking news coming in. Owaisi's first reaction on the FIR against him. Owaisi says the FIR does not specify the crime he's accused of. He adds that his specific remarks have not been added to the FIR. He's gone ahead and slammed the FIR against him. We have the first reaction of Owaisi as well, live visuals coming in. Owaisi has been booked. The first reaction on the FIR against him is out. Asaduddin Owaisi. All right, let's listen into the first reaction. We're the only channel with it.
बताया है कि इन मुकामात पर बल्दिया के इंतखाबात या ग्राम पंचायत.
Well, that was the first up reaction from Asaduddin Owaisi that was out. And remember, Owaisi has been booked. He's been named in the Delhi Police FIR over inflammatory remarks. And he says, Asaduddin Owaisi says that the FIR does not specify the crime he is accused of. He adds that his specific remarks have not been added to in the FIR. We'll get you more on this by our reporters, and we have the first up reaction of Asaduddin Owaisi. Remember, there was a case registered against some people who were allegedly spreading messages of hate, and Owaisi has been named in one of them as well. Asaduddin Owaisi has gone ahead and said, I've received an excerpt of the FIR. This is the first FIR I've seen that's not specifying what the crime is. Imagine an FIR about a murder where cops do not mention the weapon or the victim led to death. I don't know which specific remark of mine has attracted this particular FIR. He says it appears that the Delhi police lacks the courage to pursue cases against Yati, Nupur Sharma, Naveen Jindal. This is why the delayed and weak response. In fact, Yati violated his bail conditions repeatedly by inciting genocide against Muslims and insulting Islam is what he says. The Delhi police were probably trying to think a way of registering an FIR against 3 people without offending Hindutvadi fanboys and girls. The Delhi police, he says, is suffering from both sadism and balancewad syndromes. One side has openly insulted our prophet, he says, while the other side has been named to assault BJP supporters and make it look like there was a hate speech on both the sides. Also know the hate speech was by the ruling party spokesperson and by prominent dharam gurus with close links to the ruling party. This is being equated to random posts on social media with no social or political standing. In my case, FIR isn't even saying what was offensive. So that circles back to the fact that the FIR does not mention what he has been accused of. Now, the point number 6 that Asaduddin Owaisi ends up making is that Yati, genocidal Sansad gang, Nupur, Naveen, etc. have become used to there being no consequences. Weak action has only been taken when there was outrage for weeks or international condemnation or when courts pulled up the police. He says in contrast, Muslim students, journalists, activists have been put in prison for the crime of merely being Muslims. Point number 8 he makes is that Hindutva organizations have a culture where hate speech and extremism is rewarded with promotions. Example, Yogi's hate was rewarded with Lok Sabha seats and chief ministership. He is slamming the Bharatiya Janata Party on this. Then he goes on to say, point number 10, that if Modi was sincere, he would have stamped out hate speech without indulging in fake balancewad. Let genocidal hate speakers be put in prison under non-bailable draconian laws rather than getting promotion. Point number 11, and the last point that Asaduddin Owaisi makes is, as for the FIRs against me, that's what he says, we will consult our lawyers and address it as and when required. We will not be intimidated by these tactics. Criticizing hate speech and giving hate speech cannot be equated. That is Asaduddin Owaisi and his 11-point argument. He goes on to say he does not know which remarks attracted the FIR. His first reaction is out. This is exclusive news that India Today is breaking. He says the FIR does not specify the crime that he is accused of, adding that his specific remarks have not been added to the FIR. So Asaduddin Owaisi goes on to say that he's received an excerpt of the FIR. This is the first FIR I've seen that does not specify what the crime is. Imagine an FIR about a murder where the cops do not mention the weapon or the victim bled to death. I don't know which specific remarks of mine have attracted the FIR. So he seeks to know which is the exact inflammatory remark that that has attracted this FIR by the Delhi police. He also further goes on to say, and now this is something which is interesting because he says that it appears that the Delhi police lacks the courage to pursue cases against Yati, Nupur Sharma and Naveen Jindal. This is why the delayed and weak response. He says, in fact, Yati has even violated his bail conditions repeatedly by inciting genocide against Muslims and insulting Islam. He says Delhi police is suffering from both sidism and Balancewad syndrome. One side has openly insulted our prophet, while the other side has been aimed to assault BJP supporters and make it look like there was hate speech on both sides. Of course, he's referring to the inflammatory comments that have been made by Naveen Jindal and Nupur Sharma both. He also goes on to say that the hate speech was by the ruling party spokesperson and by prominent dharam gurus with close links to the ruling party. This is very interesting because let's get you reactions from the BJP also on the story and continue tracking this in close details. It's a very important development that is coming. We will continue to be on this story.